It recalls the big hit by Mace featuring Puff Daddy, Mo Money, Mo Problems. But in this case, it's No Money, Mo Problems. This is a stretch.
Hi, everybody.
I'm always messing with my hair when you start.
Okay, let's try it
But
again. Ready?
No, it's because for an old man, I have
You've
lots
got
of
locks.
I do.
Yeah.
I need to get them
Is that
cut.
the right word? Locks.
Yeah, sure.
I have locks.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Hi. Yeah, we already went.
No.
We
Hey.
don't edit a lot here.
I know. All right. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to another day in the life. Okay, so today's Sunday drive, we're actually going to drive down 535, which is kind of through Windermere. So we're going to point out just some of the communities on the right and the left, talk about Windermere a little bit, but mostly I need to get to Disney Springs because we have a lovely family that closed on a home, and I cannot even explain the literal lengths that they went to close on their home out of the country. It was amazing. Anyway, so I want to go out and I need to go get some
Now
little
they're gonna
Disney.
know.
Well, they're not gonna watch this.
They might. How'd they find you in the first place? I'm a little concerned that we got bug smushes on the windshield.
Here, want me to clean it real
You
fast?
could do it real fast, but
Okay.
then it's probably gonna make it worse. And then the video will be ruined. So the video's ruined. That's just the way that goes.
Do you want to start
But
over?
no,
Okay.
I mean,
Wait.
there's like smooshes like right here. Let's see.
Oh, it's Virginia.
No, I think
mean,
it's good.
Florida. We
Let's
live in
see.
Florida,
Can you see that
not
smoosh?
Virginia.
No, you can't see that. Okay, so I think we're okay.
Cool. All right, cool. Can we keep going?
We do have bugs that smoosh. That smoosh is the
bugs.
official word.
Smooshy bugs.
The bug smear is
Ew,
gross.
that's
You get the bug that goes,
Smoosh
and then
is-
it's like,
Smoosh is like fluffy.
it's nice.
It's like you love the fluffiness of the smooshed bug
Yes.
as opposed to the smeared one.
Yes.
All right, anyway, okay, so we are driving, as I said, we're going to
Winter Garden Vineland Road.
Winter Garden Vineland Road, correct. By the way, that's Tilden Road, just to kind of give you some points of reference.
New MI community down there, Tilden
Yes,
Place.
Tilden Place, exactly, that we've talked about a few times as well. Shout out to my chiropractors that I've not been able to see in probably 2 years, but
You would
amazing.
turn your neck and look at them,
If
but
I
you can't. The chiropractor.
Align Chiropractic, Dr. Solomon.
Yeah.
Oh
so,
my gosh, she's
so,
amazing.
She's nice. So what are we talking about today?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because we have talked a lot about the things that you have to have in order to actively pursue purchasing a home here in Florida with no contingencies. Part of that also means being pre-approved. So it's not just about not having a home to sell or having a home to close.
Yes.
It also means having your financing in place and having a pre-approval letter. So, and then kind of a little bit in line with that conversation, when we talk about new construction, what a preferred lender means and how that can affect whether or not your pre-approval will work. Do you need a secondary pre-approval? Just to kind of give them a little bit of guidance about that. What do you think?
It. I think it's
Is that good?
great.
Fabulous.
Amy, it recalls the big hit by Mace featuring Puff Daddy, Mo Money, Mo Problems. But in this case, it's No Money, Mo Problems. This is a stretch. I fully admit this is a
By
stretch.
the way, no, that's like, you're
What?
so freaking quick.
No, I'm dumb. No, like
No, you're not.
no, like that's like saying the muddy water is deep. So what? Still with mud. Mo money, no problems. No money, mo problems.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ways you could go there. You could have no money and no problems, no money, mo problems, mo money, no problems, mo money, mo problems. Take your pick. But in financing, it's no money, mo problems.
Okay, wow. Okay, so where I was going with that. All right, so pre-approvals. So a pre-approval is something you definitely should do. Like last week. And by the way, last week we talked about the Vinnie Barbarino,
We did.
do it again.
What? Where? Why?
Okay. So we talked a lot about that, but I want to mention one thing. I sent you a text earlier to remind you about
Yes,
that, but
you
it
did.
ties into what we're going to talk about today, which is the why of your where, meaning why do you want to live where you want to live? And
Yes.
that has to correlate with the price that you can afford. And I say that because I do have clients that are
Windermere High School, by the way.
yes,
Just-
Windermere High School. We are in session, by the way. We are
Go Wolverines.
They'll go Wolverines. That's true. And we're going to be taking a left here. By the way, they've got some of the shops are up and everything over here now too. So, anyway, so you're financing. So you need to make sure that that you have that in place, and you need to know if your pre-approval matches the why of your where. So if you've decided, yes, I want to live in the Horizon West area of Winter Garden, right by Disney. That's just exciting. I want to live there. Why? Is it because it's exciting, it's new, it's right there beside Disney, and that is important to you?
Right.
And if your price point does not necessarily match with that for your checkoff items on your list, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, those types of things, then what are you willing to sacrifice, if anything? And you did touch on this a little bit before.
Yes.
But I also think it's important because, and it's not just about Horizon West and Winter Garden or Disney. I've had clients that have said, you know what, I've got kids, but what's most important to me is having a lot of square footage in my house, even if the schools are not that great. That was what they were willing to sacrifice. Other clients are willing to sacrifice the square footage. They'd rather be in the Winter Garden Horizon West area, have a townhome, as opposed to being able to spend the same amount of money out in an area like Groveland where they could have a nice 2,400 square foot home. So it's a personal preference, and that's really important. So the why of your where matters, and now I'm tying back in to the pre-approval. Because more than anything, I tell my clients that for most of us, the money is the exact, right? That's kind of the number that we can't play with.
Right.
Like, we don't have a choice to say, oh, but lender, please, I'm worth so much more money than what you're saying I can afford. That's, that usually is our exact. That's our ironclad. We have to use that as a non-negotiable.
And I think we've talked about this before, but that's one of the reasons why. And by the way, this is my theory.
By the way, Windermere Prep is over here. Windermere
school.
Prep, private school over here too.
Right here, don't be here at 1:30 because the traffic back up to pick up kids. And like from 1:30 to 3, like I used to referee soccer over there, and this just backs up. There's a police officer that will be there directing. Ooh. Anyway, we're passing Waterstone, nice community.
Yep.
So when I forget what I was talking about, a lot of times what I'll do is pause and hope it comes back to me. In this case, it's not.
Lost it.
Oh no, I know why. So when one of the reasons why, in my personal theory, that people don't get pre-approved is because it's a judgment. It is sometimes in our
Well, you feel like it is.
Yeah, but basically, you said I'm worth so much more,
True.
and
right.
We would all like to be able to pre-qualify for $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. With home prices the way they are, that's tough. With interest rates the way they are, that's better. So, it makes people nervous to get that number. And it's a little bit like going to the dentist. It's a little bit like going for your annual checkup at the doctor is probably a better
Well, I always say you're financially naked in front of the lender because they know everything.
And if your lender has you naked in front of them, you have chosen the wrong
That's
lender.
another problem. No, but
I'm here for my pre-approval. I don't approve. That's at least been my experience.
Oh, honey, stop.
Anyway.
Okay. So,
look at her comforting me, because she knows. She knows there's a deep dark. There's a darkness. There's a grief that can't be spoken.
Oh, here we go again. All right.
Here we go again. That should be the theme of every Sunday drive.
I know, right? Here we go again.
Okay.
No. I actually think you had said that once when we were
I
doing
always
our
think that's
original
true.
pre-approval. Because, and by the way, when your realtor asks you about the pre-approval, we don't care what the number is other than we need to know where we can shop. We just can't look in certain communities if a price point is a certain thing. If they don't match, that's not a good or effective use of our time or emotional energy, which we've discussed before, focusing on options that aren't viable options. But when you speak with your lender, they're going to be asking you questions. You'll be providing them with information. They'll be doing hard credit pulls. So they're going to know if you have child support or if you've got alimony or if you've got, student loans or if you've got whatever the case is, they're going to know. The realtors aren't privy to all of that.
Right.
Usually what I get told from the lenders that I work with is, hey, Amy, great buyers, credit scores are wonderful. They've got a lot of flexibility. Debt to income ratio is wonderful. We're going to do the pre-approval at this, but between us, know that they've got a lot of wiggle up to about X amount. So that's great. That's the information I need. Because if you're pre-approved for 500, but I know from the lender that you've got some wiggle, maybe a 515 home is still in the, in the scope of what we could entertain. I also have phone calls where Amy, they've got some credit repair that they need to do. So I've suggested that we work on this credit repair. They're going to do a couple of things we've suggested, and we're going to revisit this in about 3 months.
And let me just touch on that real quick.
Please.
So the
by
reason,
the way, shopping all over here.
Yeah. So the reason why you might want or need to do credit repairs, two reasons. One, there are certain credit score levels that will qualify you or not qualify you, period. But the other piece of it is they may qualify you, but at a higher interest rate.
Right.
And what that does is that raises your monthly payment, which means you can afford less house. So sometimes your credit, you can get the loan, but not at the rate that you would prefer. And sometimes it's as simple as, okay, it's better to pay off some credit card debt instead of holding that money for a down payment.
Yeah.
And there are people that can work you through that because they know the system. We're not really those people.
No.
But we're like every other person. We personally, we know that we're buying a house. And one of the things I left Amy a note last night, just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing this month because we're going to pay this off because we're going to do a final approval for our loan.
Right. And we need to have this much in our account, but if we pay this much off, it could boost the credit again.
So there are lenders that can either help you with it or lead you to someone who can help you with it. So take them through two different processes. Where are we going? What are you doing?
I just thought I'd drive.
McDonald's? I was like, there's a McDonald's.
No, I just thought I'd show them this little shopping
good.
area here in Windermere because it's a nice. I'm just going to loop through it and then we're going to head on out. And by the way, I'm having an allergy attack, so my eyes look like bloodshot and they're going to start watering. They're going to start twitching.
Fork and Flora Latin Bistro. That's nice. There's a little medical thing over here.
Yep.
So take me through as we go through here. I'll call out names of businesses. Maybe we'll see them from the side camera. But there's two different processes. So if you want to pre-qualify with a lender, right? So just to buy a resale home or there's nothing tied to it. And then I want you to tell me how that's different when you go to in new construction or someone that has a quote preferred lender, what that means.
Perfect.
So start with just not hitting that Toyota, but then secondarily, they put their signal on like, because they're coming out.
Oh,
okay.
Gotcha. Publix in front of us.
One of these days we'll go out of the thing and take you through a Publix too. I think people would like that.
Yes.
Anyway, so tell me. So now I'm just contacting a lender to get a loan, and let's just say I'm using a Florida lender just to make it simpler because that's a different topic too if you're out of state.
Right. Okay. So
what do I do?
All right. So if you think that you're going to be purchasing a home within the next 3 months, 90 days, then it is time for you to get your pre-approval. We need to know what that number is. You're going to reach out to a local lender. You can reach out to your own bank if you'd like. That's fine. They have a lot of your financial information there. They can service a loan most likely. But I will say the first thing you need to do in any case, especially if you do not currently live in Florida, if you live out of state and you are looking to purchase a home in Florida, you need to go to your local bank or local lender if that's what you choose to do. And the first thing you need to say is, I'm interested in purchasing a home in Florida. If I do my pre-approval, can you service that loan? And the only reason I say that, again, we are not, financing is not our area of expertise. So anything we say is just based on experiences we have had. I have had clients that live in other states, specifically like New Jersey, and maybe it was just their one specific bank, maybe it was that one specific lender, but I have been told that sometimes they will not service a loan for a home purchased in Florida. So I would say just to make sure you don't go through the whole process only to find out that you never mentioned the home was going to be in Florida, that it derails.
Let me just a quick little side note. Well,
Yes,
it's in the same subject though. Amy, if you recommend a lender to me, do you get a kickback or bonus or anything? Do you get any financial consideration whatsoever?
I do not.
From doing that?
I
don't even know that anyone does ever, but we certainly don't.
I wouldn't want people to think that. Like, so for instance,
I just thought it was important because somebody mentioned that the other day.
It is. And you know what? You're exactly right. So I have a great story about Bruce Woodburn with Cross Country Mortgage. Used to be Summit Mortgage, and I did not know him from anyone. He happened to be a preferred lender of the builder that built our home. So we just lucked into him. We lived in Virginia. So he actually serviced our loan. He was our lender for our purchase when we moved from Virginia to Florida. That's all I knew about him until after we moved here, met him, talked with him. Now I'm in real estate, and he's my go-to lender. But not because, well, it is because I knew him from the other side of the table. I knew him as the buyer.
Yeah.
But on this side of it going, I need to get my clients pre-approved. One of the things that I love the most about them, which is why I will say if I could get you in touch with someone at Cross Country Mortgage, is mostly because if you come in and you do have credit repair, if you do have a little bit more of a process that you need to go through, or if you've got some additional hurdles you have to cross over because maybe you're self-employed, so it's always a little bit more difficult. By the way, Keens Point over here to our left.
Keens Point is the...
It is so pretty. Beautiful.
It's gated, as you can tell. That's what it looks like when there's a bunch of people waiting for the gate.
All trying to get in because it's guard gated. But so one of the things I like about that particular lender, and there's lots of lenders that do this, by the way. This is not them explicitly and solely, but I have had the experience where they're like, well, we're going to get them ready. They're not ready now, Amy, but they're going to get ready. We're going to help them get there, and this is how we're going to help them get there. So instead of just brushing them off because they don't meet the boxes of the ratios of the debt-to-income ratio or their credit score is too low, instead of just brushing them off and saying no, they say no, not now, but. And that's what I appreciate, because I think everybody should do everything they can to get their home. So anyway, so when I say to all of my clients, I can get you in touch with Bruce Woodburn over at Cross Country Mortgage, it's because of that. It's because he was my lender, so I know what it's like to be the one that needs him to approve your loan.
Yeah.
And then I also have been on it, I can't even tell you how many times, on the realtor side of it, where he has worked on the loan on behalf of my clients.
And others have done very good jobs. We recommend others as well. We usually
course.
try to recommend a couple of options because we want you to choose.
Sure.
But the recommendation is never because...
No.
I'm going to go like this for half a second.
Okay.
You would not believe the number of companies that call Amy when she has a client that buys a house. The phone rings off the hook. Hey, if you get them to set up with this security system or with this pest control company or this and this and this, we'll give you $200 if you put us in touch with them and they do a thing. We just flat out do not do it.
Don't do it.
First of all, because we always believe in disclosure. Anything, it's all above board, and of course we would tell you that, and probably people wouldn't care.
Well,
but hey, we get a $200 bonus if we do this. It's just more hassle than it's worth, and it's
$200.
It's a ding to potential integrity that this lady won't do. Mm-hmm. I'd love $200.
Well, no, I mean, candidly, let's think about this for a minute.
Okay.
If I got and again, the number I won't tell you the security company, but if they're if it's a $200, why are we even talking about this? I was talking about lenders, but anyway.
I know.
But let's just say, and
we're talking about kickbacks, and people were asking about.
So there are some companies that they'll see, this home closed, so they call that realtor, that the buyer's agent, and they say, would you like me to reach out to your clients, to install this security system, and then you'll get a $200 gift card. Well, that's nice. I mean, and candidly, with enough closings, if enough people did that, I mean, who doesn't want the extra money? But the truth is, I don't do that because I think it's very awkward and I think it's off-putting. And I wouldn't want to say, hey, so-and-so, I'm going to recommend this security company so that I get $200.
And that was the point the reason I brought it up, because we recommend lenders because they've a history of good service. We will absolutely recommend a security company to you, but because of a history of good service, not because they're giving us something for it. Right. And in fact, if we're recommending somebody, you can be certain we're not getting anything from it. No. So lenders, how do you get a lender?
And by the way, and same thing with inspectors, it's because it's a proven history with them.
Yes.
Someone asked me the other day for a pool company, and someone asked me for a fence guy, and someone else asked me for like a painter. Mm-hmm. Those are people that we have used personally, that I have had an experience with, that I feel like we had a good experience with it. Yes. Anyway, okay, so lenders.
So, lenders. I'm calling a lender.
A regular lender, and you're going to get your... Okay,
service loan in Florida, so let's say I'm calling a Florida lender.
Right.
What happens?
So you provide the documents that they need, which is pretty much anything and everything with your financial history. They'll get your social security number, they pull your credit, blah, blah, blah. They're going to put together the numbers, and you'll get your pre-approval letter. And that is always a conditional pre-approval, by the way.
And it takes how long?
Well, it depends on the lender, but usually that same day, they can get you a letter, maybe the next night or the next day if you call them late in the afternoon or something, but it's very quick. they're able to get you that pre-approval letter, and that's basically our permission slip to go shopping, because now we know what our number is, we know where we can start to look, and we can start to match all of these pieces to create the right spot for you. So that lender is going to give you that letter, and then like I said, we go shopping. Now, once we find the home, then we give them a copy of that contract, and they start to actually do the loan application and with the specifics, because they need to know the actual home address, the taxes for that area, HOA fee, blah, blah, blah. So that lender is going to be able to do the process with you from beginning to end if it's a resale home. Mm-hmm. So what we were going to chat about is new construction, because we do so much of it, and what does a preferred lender mean? And there's two different kinds of preferred lenders. You do have larger builder corporations, Taylor Morrison, Meritage, Mattamy, D.R. Horton. Those companies have preferred lenders under the same corporate umbrella. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. They disclose that to you, but that is their preferred lender. It's in-house. So they're going to make money off of you from the loan as well as from the purchase of the home. There's a benefit to that. One of the benefits, in my opinion, is that they stay in constant communication with one another. So there are elements that the communication behind the scenes is going to be wonderful. And I should have turned there. That's okay. That's okay.
It's a Sunday drive.
It is a Sunday drive. But anyway, so that, the communication is going to be better. There's going to be issues that happen that you're not even going to be privy to, because they will have worked it out because it's under the same corporate umbrella. That's one type of a preferred lender. A secondary type of a preferred lender is that there are some builders who don't have a corporate in-house lender, but they do have a couple of lenders that they literally, definition, prefer to work with. They prefer to work with FBC. They prefer to work with Cross Country. They prefer to work with so-and-so. And with those preferred lenders, by the way, in both cases, whether it's in-house or whether it's just an outside lender that they prefer to work with, there are typically incentives that are attached to that. Sometimes it could be flex cash. It could be closing cost contribution. It could be design center incentive. In most cases, all of that is tied into using their preferred lender. We can talk about that more specific case-to-case scenario. But that's if you use their lender. Now, then I'm talking a lot on this one. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, I think the people prefer that. Okay. I'm just sitting here.
So stop. You're going to lose my train of thought. Okay. So with that in-house preferred lender, or secondary outside, but the builder's preferred lender, those incentives that are attached, sometimes, this is not a blanket statement by any stretch of the imagination, sometimes the builder's interest rate is going to be a little bit higher. So then you're outside. So let's say you get pre-approved with your local bank and you get pre-approved with the builder. You're going to find that the builder's preferred lender potentially, not always, but it could potentially have a higher interest rate. If they have a higher interest rate, sometimes they play this little game. I'm on to you, builders. Well, we're giving you $8,000 towards closing costs, so why don't you use that $8,000 to buy down the rate? Okay, so what?
Right.
So wait. So if I use your lender that has a higher interest rate and you're giving me $8,000, now I have to use that $8,000 to buy down the rate that I would already have if I were able to use my bank lender over here.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
And the finance word for that is yield. So you want to look at the yield of the loan to them.
Good for you, babe.
Hey, I know my stuff, man.
Yes, you do.
So the yield is interest rates and mortgage companies are competitive. They're out there. They want to loan you the money because they want you to pay them interest.
Yeah, of course.
So the magic is in the yield. So, and you can play it both ways for what works best for you. So we're coming up to the corner of Apopka Vineland and Winter Garden Vineland. So a lot of Vinelands happening. Yeah,
so a lot of Dr. Phillips stuff happening around in this area. Real quick, Pulte has Phillips Grove over here. And right across the street was Estates at Parkside, which was merited, really big, beautiful homes. Very touristy. Do you feel how we got touristy all of a sudden?
Yeah, all of a sudden because the mouse is nearby. And there's the rat. I don't know if you can see Remy from Ratatouille.
Oh, yes, of course. All right, I'm sorry.
We'll see what's going on. Okay, so anyway. Yes. So the yield is really what you're paying for the loan over time. And it's actually really good to shop and compare. We can help you with that if you need us to ever look at it. But basically, lower interest rates sometimes come with higher closing costs. Sometimes incentives, somebody might give you a $20,000 incentive, but it's a 0.5% rate higher. Well, over the course of the loan, that could be $100,000. I'm making up numbers. I don't, but it could be a lot more. It'll be a lot more than $20,000. So the key is, do you need that money now, or do you and we'll pay a higher interest rate later, or would you rather pay a lower interest rate over time, but have to bring more cash to the table now? And the truth is, you're within dollars usually. If you look at them, it's just that the yield is the same, but the terms are different. So, oh hey, oh my gosh, it's the most magical place on earth.
It is the most magical place on earth.
Every time it still gets me. It's dumb that we live here, and I'm like, there's Disney, and it shouldn't. Yeah. I shouldn't.
We've just been driving for a few minutes, and we're here. And we went, by the way, a different direction. So preferred lender versus an outside lender. You, by the way, as the consumer, have the right to choose whichever lender you want.
Absolutely.
Okay. So do not feel like you are beholden to the builder's preferred lender. However, there are builders, in fact, almost all of them. In fact, I don't know of one that doesn't. Requires you to do a pre-approval, even if you come in with a pre-approval from your bank. Okay. You come in. I have a pre-approval letter from my local bank for X amount, and you want to buy new construction. The builder is still going to require you to do a pre-approval through their preferred lender. It's like a second tier of vetting you. And by the way, had this situation, it's happening literally right now. My client came in pre-approved from a bank. The builder's lender said, we're missing some proof of some documentation.
Yeah.
And we're able to go back and say, well, but they are pre-approved from,
the bank.
X bank, and we're able to kind of continue to work toward the same common goal, which is ultimately buying and closing on a home.
Right.
So the moral of the story is preferred lenders, outside lenders. New construction, preferred lender is a very convenient way to go, but it can potentially cost you a little bit more. And we did talk about closing costs, and I just want to mention that people are like, well, how much are closing costs? So I can't really tell you the amount, but I will tell you what the builders tell me, so I'm only relaying information. It is about 5% of your loan amount, okay? That yours may not be that high, maybe it's a little bit higher. You also have to remember that there are some builders out there that charge you builder fees. And all of a sudden you get to closing and you're like, why?
And that is a closing cost, but it's really just we'd like this extra little bit of money.
It's a...
I get...
I'm going to go to Lime Garage.
Sure.
Should I go to Lime Garage?
Sure. I know their justification for why they do it, which is we don't know if things are going to cost what. Well, they certainly don't refund it and they don't waive it. So, I think there are some builders who charge that because they can. That's all.
Well, exactly.
So, but anyway, we're going to the Lime Garage.
We are going to the Lime Garage here at Disney Springs.
So, in the future, by the way, if you have questions, you can reach out via email. You can reach out via text. We're happy to answer them. But also, if you'd like to, in the comments, you can say, hey, I have a question for a future drive. We're shopping now. What is my yield on today's thing? Here's my yield when we go shopping. You want to know what my yield is? Nothing. I get nothing. This is a historical fact. We go shopping and I get nothing. So wait, loving the vacation life. Good for you. Oh, that's nice. Loving the smeared thing because it rains every day in Florida, but still.
Well done.
So they came down from North Carolina and they're loving the vacation life. It's nice.
It's very nice.
So anyway, that's what we have to talk about today. I think we're done. I would just like to say that I think my quadrants of mo money, mo problems, mo money, no problems, no money, mo problems, no money, no problems is something that I'm going to workshop and probably take out across the country and get big speaker fees for no money. What do we have? We have no money, mo problems, I think usually, but I don't know. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm just vamping now because we're parking and it makes me nervous. So I'll just be quiet and I'll say adieu.
Adieu.
We have people that watch in French.
We do? Au revoir. All right. So we're actually leaving now. Okay, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna find my
happy house hunting. How do you say it in French? Psych. I couldn't say it in Spanish either. I speak a little Spanish. She speaks a little French, and we'll know for next week. I'll put it on the screen.
Now I look stupid.
Google Translate. No, you don't, because you know that it's right here on the screen. Google Translate.
All right, so I'm going to find a spot. By the way, I love this at Disney Springs. Do you see how they tell you where the spots that are available?
Is today the day we get our Canadian friend Jen poutine and take it to her?
Perhaps.
Because it's a poutine stand, which is weird. Okay, we're gonna go. Let's just go.
Yes, we're
that way
leaving
you can
now.
park. I know,
All
you
right,
can park
guys.
behind
Happy
there.
house hunting.